Have you had anyone saying to you, you have no conscience? Well, in truth, we all have a conscience. The only difference is that the inner thought or the inner understanding of what is right and wrong is different for each one of us. And many of us understand right from wrong based on the laws of the land or as a result of our religion and our upbringing. The Apostle Paul speaks about his conscience being a witness to what was right and what was wrong. Now, how is the conscience of the unbeliever or the believer's conscience different from the unbeliever? You see, the unbeliever, as I've said, is guided by those things that are in the flesh. But the conscience of the believer is guided by the Holy Spirit. So where you have the unbeliever may justify what is wrong to be right, the believer understands what is right from wrong because of the witness of the Holy Spirit. The unbeliever does not have the indwelling Spirit to witness to his conscience what is right from wrong. And so we need to understand that unless we allow the Spirit of God to reveal what is truth and what is not, we as believers are also going to say and do things that is not in line with the will of God. Why? Because we will come from a point of following our old ways and our old thoughts and believing that that is right. And so when we are guided by the Spirit of God, when we surrender to God and allow His Spirit to reveal what is right and wrong, then only can our conscience be in tune with what God desires from us. So again, we have the believer and we have the unbeliever. And the unbeliever is guided by a conscience that comes from the laws of the land or from some religious upbringing, and he comes to the conclusion that his wrong can also be right, but not so for the believer if the believer allows the Spirit of God to witness to his conscience. So when the Apostle Paul speaks about his conscience witnessing to what is right and what is wrong and what was holiness in his life, he is basically speaking about the Spirit of God that was guiding his conscience, and he was able to do things in line with the will of God because he allowed the Spirit of God to lead him and guide him. But again, remember that there are believers as well that do not allow or have not surrendered to the Holy Spirit, and as a result are still guided by the things of this world. So unless we allow the Spirit of God to lead us, to show us the way, we are not going to have a conscience that is in line with what God desires